Hello. Welcome on in. Welcome to the stream. It's Sunday. It's sorry my voice is a little I've been a little sick. Just dying a little bit. I've got a fun collab today though, which is good. Far Far West, which I played the other day. I was not sponsored to play it, but I just thought I would like the game, and I was able to get a key, and I was like, fuck it, I'll play. And then I did like the game, and then I ended up streaming it for like a billion hours the other day with friends. And then they hit me up and sponsor brought up and were like, hey, we're still running a campaign for it for a little bit, and we have like a little something left if you want to, you know, take it as thanks and stream it again. And I was like, hell yeah. So I got some other friends hooked up with sponsors for today as well, where I could. Always interesting doing those things, kind of like last minute just coming through with it, but that is what we do, so we did it. And yeah, so I've got that today. I'm gonna be playing with me, Boone, Garrick, and Surefour. So got my bozos sponsored, which is great. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, and Surefour can carry us, because he's an FPS god. Are you Surefour? Yes. You know he lives with Garrick, right? Did you guys know that they're roommates, like unironically, and they don't use the first floor of their house? It's literally empty. It is literally empty. Are they boyfriends? God, I wish. But their first floor of their house is empty, so I keep telling them, like, if New York ever gets hit by like an insane hurricane and I almost die, I'm just gonna move it to the first floor. And I told them, you're not gonna know. I'm just gonna do it and you're not gonna know because you don't go there anyway. They would never notice. They'd just see their power bill go up a little bit and be like, oh, interesting. And then they'd stay in their rooms again because they don't leave their rooms. I just want their cat. I'm not gonna lie. I really like their cat. I'm gonna steal her. Yeah, where'd these cats go from? Garrett can hear him screaming on stream. Dude, constantly we're like hanging out late night VC. You know, we have a Discord where a bunch of us will like sit around. There's always like 8 of us just chilling. And every time Garrick is there, you know, people's mics are different on Discord than they're tuned on stream. So like some stuff comes through really easy on Discord, and I just hear Surefour screaming through Garrick's mic through the wall all the time. And their rooms aren't like literally door to door, you know, like they're a little further down the hall kind of thing. And you can still hear the from the other room. It's so funny. So fucking funny. Is there kitchen on the second floor? They just order takeout 24/7? I don't know. I assume they get DoorDash a lot. You said I cook for them and bring it up. Yeah, Sakura lives on the first floor right now. They think they're ordering DoorDash, but it's just Sakura cooking. It's so true. So true. No, I got a few friends where I always joke with them and say, like, look, one day when that hurricane comes through and wipes us out again on the East Coast, I'm gonna be at your place. And that's one of the houses that I always joke about. I don't know if I'd want to live with 2 stinky dudes though. I think you know, I've had brothers for a very long time, and I lived with them like my whole young life. You know, I've experienced that. I'm all right. I don't mind living with some people if we have like a big enough space where, or it doesn't have to be big, just the layout is in a way where I can like shove them off to the side and not see them very often. You know, and you guys know I got like a part-time roommate right now who's here depending on, you know, the work schedule and all that, but I don't know. I don't know about like living in an apartment that's small. Like, you know, some people they have to, and I've done this before with siblings, but you know, some people get like a tiny apartment and they'll just shove people in there because you got it when you're young. I don't know if I could do that at my big age. I don't know if I could. I don't mind people being around, and that's why like I opened up extra rooms that I had to friends to come live here and stuff. But I just don't know if I could do like the little shoebox apartment again. If I had to downsize and like have a ton of roommates, I would lose my mind. Because at least the people that are in and out of here are low key, you know, very low key. Like when we shared the beds in the army, it was so cozy. Yay. My problem is if it's only one bathroom. That's the big thing that made me very willing to allow other folks to be here. Was the fact that I had an entire unused bathroom. I was like, okay, this is good. I don't have a shit ton of space, but I've got like some small rooms that are just like, what can I use them for? More closets. They're not really like big rooms or anything. But then I had a lot of friends who have a lot going on in their lives and could use places to crash or sometimes to live on and off. And, you know, so I was like, okay. I didn't know you had a roommate recently. Yeah, I didn't do like a big announcement or reveal or something because I mean, what are you going to hear them clank a plate? You know, like they're not part of my content. I've got two. I've got one that's here more often, and then one that's like in and out. But I explained it a while back. I have people around sometimes. Ooh, when I was in college, we had one bathroom for 20 plus guys. Oh, God. Yeah, I was never a fan of those types of situations, man. At least give people more bathrooms. At least. It's just like, you know, no one's cleaning often enough and people don't clean up after themselves. One bathroom for a ton of people is totally fine if people are clean, but they're just not. They're just not. I had a few temp guests who crashed on my couch for weeks and it made me realize I like my me space a lot. Yeah, I mean, my layout is in a way where I don't have to really run into them much. So I have a whole little chunk of area where I was like, hey, as many of you as need, you know, I'm here. Because times is hard right now. Times is hard. And some people just don't need to be spending all of that on an apartment they're not always in, or, you know, it's just, or just to be closer to certain things, you know. I would rather be nice to a friend and give them a space to be when they need it, even if it's not all the time, because I have it. Doesn't harm me to throw a bed in here and let them use a little bit of space, you know, so that they aren't spending. Like, I just don't want my friends to spend so much to have spaces close to where they need to be, especially for ones that aren't in them all the time. Like one is a lot of the time and another is like very on and off, and I'm like, you don't need to be spending on an entire apartment if you're not always there, you know. I just can't do it. Can't do it. You know. Never once considered having a roommate. Been living with my dad for over a decade now. Oh yeah. If you are close with your parents, dude, that's actually the best. I know not everyone is, but like, I would do it. I would do it with the current layout where I can kind of like give people their own space. I would do it. When I was last still living with parents, I didn't like it because the layout was in a way where we were up in each other's business all the time, you know? So I wasn't a fan of being an adult and doing that. So when it made, you know, financial sense to, I split off from that. But I would love to have something where I could live with them, but not literally on them all the time. You know what I mean? Because I used to walk out of my bedroom and like look into my mom's like area and see her face to face. Like you know, like I would just walk right out of my bedroom door and she was just there. So she'd be like, "What you doing? What you thinking about? You know, what's going on?" So, you know, I like having a little more separation, but I would love buy up a street in New York. If I could buy up a street and just move all my family into the same street, I would do that, but I'd have to be a more billionaire. Get the side by side with an adjoining door. Dude, it's so hard to find stuff like that. It's just so hard. But that is like the dream. That absolutely is the dream, is I want to move my parents around into better situations and right near me. A little giggly, that's what I'm saying. Sounds like we need more subs. Yeah, so tithings will be for my mom's happiness. No, unironically, like, I want to make money for my mom. I don't I don't even want it for me. I want it for my family, you know? That's all I got on my mind, personally. And if I have more excess, cat rescue. I'm gonna buy up so much land and not let anyone do anything on it. And be like, yep, that's for conservation. I would be an evil landowner, but only evil toward people that want to develop the land. And that would be that's my evil rich person goal. That's my goal. Bardbo, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. It will go toward my future land purpose. Purpose? Purchase. A farm upstate for cats rescue. Oh, dude. I would really, really, really love to do that. Actually, that's one of the things I would love to do is open something that is like a cat rescue farmland, you know, for the ones that can't necessarily be easily rehomed kind of thing. But then also have it be a place to be where kind of like one of those rehab centers, not a full rehab center, but they have those things where you can send people who've got some issues, some stuff going on, and they need to just like readjust, and have that be one of the places, and they come in and they just help out with the cats and stuff. It'd be cool, man. It'd be cool. Ginterface, thank you for the tier 3, by the way. I appreciate that. So my mom makes almost as much as me with her big fuck-ass pension. Makes me wonder what the hell I'm doing. Oh, dude, some of them are getting so much. I'm glad that they'll get Social Security. And that is all I will say on that. End of discussion. That's so nice. It's been 1 year since Maya and her adoptive father PT found her adoptive father PT and then proceeded to terrorize Helen with a therapy session. Yeah, I think Archon was hopping back on here and there. I gotta ask him if he's been hopping on his PT, because we gotta do that. There we go. There we go. Archon's the Sean Bean of No Pixel. Oh, you're not wrong. I got Dread trying to get me on Skyrim because that Skyrim RP server reopened. And he was like, yo, I've been on there every night. I was like he just is messaging me out of the blue, like, you gotta get on Skyrim. And I'm like, okay. So I asked him for the details. And maybe at some point we'll check out the Skyrim RP server, dude. It's apparently like people are addicted to it. It's allegedly so good. So good. So I think if I hop on with like Dread, you know, that shit's gonna be terrible. You knew multiplayer Skyrim. You could do a lot. That game has been modded to death, and you could do everything now. So they have a full RP server on there. And apparently it's like really fun. And it's not like the usual RP crowd, like only the usual folks. Like No Pixel's fun, but for the past, you know, year and a half, it's only been the same No Pixel people, and occasionally they bring on, like, they let in some like newer folks here and there in little waves, but like it's just the same people in circles, which is nice, but you know, you gotta have like different mixes of people. I love seeing the same folks occasionally, but like you need freshness, you know, as well. You need a mix. And I've been burning Peepo, been playing there. I miss Peppo so bad. And part of me was like, I know it's cringe. I will literally stream snipe him. I will make a character for the purpose of stream sniping him. Okay, and no one will yell at me because they know it's me and not some random fan, right? They know it's a pal. I will make a character to just run up and stream snipe him, but they gotta have like a stupid bit, like they just keep tripping in front of him and that's it, you know? Like just something dumb. Like I gotta come up with something good. Maybe I make a beggar character that's just always begging near wherever he is. Like a fucking ghost. They just show up everywhere. And just see if he realizes it's me. You know what I mean? Which town would you have your preference for living, though, if it had folks you'd vibe with? I don't know. I used to have when I played... Oh my god, I almost said Shaden Hall, like I was talking about Oblivion. When I played Skyrim, like, single player... Which house did I use mostly? Which town? I don't remember which town I preferred. There was one that I had a house in and I was always using. But I don't remember. IDK, man. IDK. Wait, run. Yeah, wait, let me look. Is it the DLC house? I have no fucking clue what it was. It was one of the northern ones. It was something snowy. Was it Winterhold? Was it Solitude? Is Solitude snowy? Was Morthal the one with the high cliff-like walls? It wasn't that one. I don't remember. I really liked the one with the big church right in the middle. Which one was that? I don't remember. Academy Town is snowy. I think I was in Windhelm for a bit, and I think then after I did the I think I did the Solitude house after that. I think I liked living in Solitude. Because I just liked the view of the town. I liked the way the town looked. I liked the verticality, you know, like the taller buildings and just the hilliness of it I thought was really nice. So I'm pretty sure that's where I was living. I like that had like the little docks area and everything. It was just cute. Empire or Stormcloaks? I think my first playthrough I did Stormcloaks. I was very down with the people being all like, you know, Nords only, everyone else get fucked. I thought it was kind of funny. But I did also at some point do the Empire storyline separately, and that was fun too. I like that it was written where in a way where it feels good and bad from both for both sides. Yeah, I just liked Ulfric. Order my shaker cup. Yes. Oh yeah, this pre-order period is done tomorrow. And I actually don't know if that means it's gone at midnight tonight or if it's gone midday tomorrow or if it's up all day tomorrow. I don't know. So get it today if you were going to get it today. Ask for like an extra day or two? No. Nope. I've had this shit as my starting soon screen and my podcasty screen, whatever you want to call it, for so long. If people missed it, they missed it. All right, so if you wanted it, you gotta get it. Will you be posting the art on the gamer mount? I was looking forward to it being my desktop wallpaper. I have to see if I'm gonna use it for anything else. If it's not gonna be used for any other commercial stuff, then yeah, at that point I'll make sure it gets posted. I just never post it until like the sales and stuff are done because you know those stupid fuck ass sites that automate, they like scrape all drops from all other places and then just like throw it on some shirts and shit and pretend they're you. You ever see those? I mean, they already exist. They're already ones trying to claim they can sell the shirt and stuff. Like if I'm not endorsing it, you know it's not real. I know most of you guys know that. But yeah, they all do it. If I search for like Geega shirts right now, the GamerSubs one is there. All my stuff on Horizons is there. That's good. And then as I scroll, I see like, oh, Redbubble. You know what I mean? Like it's all that shit. Some ones that have like the old Vishojo stuff that they've scraped and put on their site. So, oh, some of them stole Bouts' art. That's great. That was never even sold by me. They just stole that shit and put it on a shirt. It's these like random ass Redbubble scammers. What? Yeah, just search Geega shirt and you'll see. You'll see. There's one that's literally just a picture of me, like a PNG of my old Warlock model on a black shirt on Redbubble. It's, I don't know if anyone, the thing is, I don't know if anyone actually buys these. I want to say people don't get got by these. There is one place that already scraped the shirt art and has put like these shirts, this one right here, they put that on their site. There's not too many of them, which is good, but there's always some. But yeah, that's why I don't post anything commercially owned until like the sale period is done. And like, you know, higher res or anything like that. I just won't do it until you know, after, because I don't want anyone looking for the thing and then they see like something like this, it looks legit, and then they get it at the wrong spot. I would feel really bad. So, yep. And then also, I just don't want people like making shit out of it. there was one time I felt weird. Now, if you're in a country where you cannot get the stuff shipped to you without paying $1 billion, I'm not gonna yell at you for this. But oh, that's fine, Bouts, as long as it's not stolen from you. But you know, some people will be like, oh, I didn't want to pay for the thing when it was out. Um, you know, and now I could still buy it, but you know, the hype has changed. I still kind of want the shirt though. I don't know. Oh, I'll print it myself. And then they just take the art and just print it themselves. And I'm like, Now again, if you are, you know, in a place where your currency is very different from ours and the shipping is ridiculous and it's literally out of, like, it's just out of the question. I'm not going to yell at you. Just don't tell me about it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to yell at you. But in general, you know, I don't want to encourage that stuff happening too much, you know? Some properties I've not picked anything up for because I can't tell who's legit and who isn't. Yeah, it's tough, man. But yeah, I'm happy with how this stuff came out. Very much so. I think it'd be fun to redo some drops like this if people missed it and then like really want it later. That's another reason to kind of keep the full res stuff to yourself, is like if you ever want to re-release it, you know? Or maybe I get some printed and then I make that like con exclusive. Like you can't buy it online anymore, but if you're at an event, you might be able to pick one up. You know, something like that would be fun. That's something I've thought about. So actually, ooh, I wanted to message them about that before I forget. Okay, there we go. There we go. Said that message before I forget because I did want to do something along those lines. The systems part of Geega systems on the shirt mean anything or part of something? Nope. It is to feel like a retro gaming system, but not to nod to any specific one. You might notice that many of our drops feel related to retro gaming stuff, yet are legally distinct and aren't exactly the same. It's along that line of thinking. It's along that line. You said definitely don't order 100,000 units and have boxes of them sitting around the desk waiting to be sold. I feel like I could never hope to sell 100,000 units of something. I don't. Even the biggest VTubers aren't really selling 100K of an item of their own merch. We're not Labubu, you know what I mean? It would be cool, but no. I'm really like impressed when I see how much we sell of certain things, and then I hear what someone else sells, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we don't, we're not crazy merch movers here. But I'm also like, I'm not trying hard to squeeze people. You know what I mean? I'm just like, hey, it's here if you want it. Here are the dates. Here are the dates. Here are the dates. I remind you, and that's it. Giga Labubu when? I want to make a Lapupu, but we'll get there one day. We'll get there one day. I really wanted to make something along those lines, but it's not necessarily me.
Juiced it! So I juiced it!
You'll see if I get to make the thing I was thinking of making. You'll see it eventually. Hopefully. I don't know. It's really hard to find manufacturers for certain things sometimes when it's like a unique or custom type item. It can be tough. What I'm gonna try. Are there any merch items that you guys really want to see? Like in particular, I know a lot of people were saying they wanted a new desk mat. So I released with this drop. I did a desk mat that I'm really happy with. So that, but is there anything else you guys really want to see? I don't know what you guys want. I feel like a lot of things you've said you wanted in the past, I kind of did. Zip hoodie, we did with mouse. We'll do more of those. Desk mat, I got you. Sword, absolutely the fuck not. That's going to cost me $1 billion to make. If you want to fund it, I'll do it though. Just not me. Just not me. Ooh, affordable housing. Oh, yeah. When I'm your president. The figure. Eventually, I've been pushing to get that along. See another wave of creators getting ghosted by merch companies again? Really? Which ones? Said fuck with a bong with a mob on it. Unfortunately, I'm not a smoker, so I don't wanna sell any merch that's like, you know, insanely unrepresentative of me. Waiting on a tie clip or cufflinks. Ooh. If I could do a shorter, like a smaller run of them, I would. I have to check. They all have, every item's got an MOQ typically, which is minimum order quantity. So they'll be like, oh yeah, we can make anything you want, but you've got to get 500 of them. And then I got to think, okay, am I going to sell 500 tie clips? The answer is, for me, probably not, you know? So stuff like that is what you got to, what you got to ask yourself. You know? Boxing gloves, no. Ooh, stress ball. Novelty keycaps. That'd be fun. I think keycaps aren't too hard to find people for. Like trinkets, like the coins. Yeah, the coin was a pin. I was thinking of doing a full just coin version at some point. Because some people were like, oh, I wish this was a coin. So I yanked the pin part off the back to make it a coin. And I'm like, no, no, it's a pin. It's a pin that looks like a challenge coin. I can just make a challenge coin later if I gotta. You know, like people were like, yeah, I pulled the pin off. And I'm like, dude, fuck. Putting lean in my Geega G-Subs cup. You can, though. They actually have a flavor called lean. You know that? It's pretty good. Andy, have you played Far Far West? You should play it. I was thinking of a desk mat that could also double as a pin collector board thingy. I would not double those. I would just make that two separate things. But I like the idea. I like the thinking. Reusable grocery bag. I have asked 1,000 times to get one of those done, and it always gets like pushed off because we get it going and then I'm like, shit, we got too many items. What do we have to drop? And we always drop that. But I've asked a million times and we've like gotten the ball rolling a million times. So see if we could actually do it at some point and not have that be the thing that doesn't get dropped, you know? A board game? Yeah, let me just go design a full functioning board game that isn't unfun to play. If I had the time, I would. I've actually had a few people work on something like that. But I think I would rather do something that works online and just do an actual normal game release than do a physical. Maybe like physical release of something later could be fun. But something that you can adjust and have people playing and give feedback on first and then later do a physical version. I feel like doing a physical out the gate would be a terrible idea if I don't have the time to sit there and play test like crazy, you know? Like I would need that. So maybe we could do it in the other way around, right? Like do a digital release of something and then later physical once we feel like it's balanced. And for me, a plushie. We have mob plushies. We have a bunch of those. I made sure we got a lot of stock of those. And the winning faction each month, their plushie is on sale for the rest of that month. Boris Ducky. We could. The Templar outfit on Desmond as well. Yeah, you know, I never did a solo item drop for the Templar outfit. I never did that. I do have one additional drawing of that fit that I wanted to put on some stuff, so maybe I don't know if it'll end up on a desk mat though. We'll see. We'll see. I gotta think on it. A bag? Yeah, I'm gonna work on a, we have a bag for a future drop being worked on. Yokai letter opener. So the problem is, because that's technically a knife, going and shipping those is a whole different um thing, you know. I like the idea, but if I'm like, yeah, let me sell something that's basically a knife, then there is like a whole set of legal implications, and there's a lot more that I have to do on that, and it makes it really costly. Would be cool though. Would be cool. A lot of those ideas that I've really liked like that, I have to like put away because a good number of them have implications with shipping them. Anything with a battery is like a nightmare. Anything that has to include a battery. So I could do something that's electronic but has no battery included. That could work. But anything that's supposed to have a battery in it, absolutely not. That's happened to some people with their figures in the past, where they wanted their figure to have like light up parts, and then the shipping part, like some countries had issues with that, and so it became a whole thing to figure out. So much to think about with that. Much to think about. Gas station boner pills. Not a bad idea. No, pen lights. Well, you can do stuff like that, but just not ship it with a battery, you know? Blue Chews got that BC2. Dude, when we had the BC2 and I was selling BC2 in the back alley of fucking New Babylon. Oh, dude. Insane. It was insane. It was what it was Blue Chew and birth control 50/50. Is that based on anything real? Yeah, Blue Chew and birth control. It was a 50/50 pill of the two. But that was in RP selling to people. It was a whole thing. Would gum or toothpicks be too crazy? I don't know why I would sell those. Those are like things you could just go get at a gas station. And I don't know why I would put my face on it. You know what I mean? I want something you like. I don't know. Something else. Something else. A Natura Pline flavor. Oh, Ricky's thing. I have some of his he gave me them for free. I have some of his toothpicks. I do have that. Wallet or money clip? Would you want a Geega wallet? How many people would use the Geega wallet? You'd have to pull that out in public. Is it Velcro? Who knows? Who knows? Credit card cover. I had those at Hallmat. I'm trying to get the Hallmat merch figured out. It's very close to being ready to being sold online. And we had credit card skins as one of the things. So that actually is already done, just not released online yet. Some of you have them from the con though, actually. We got some of those. Displate collab. I think okay. I thought Displate was like falling apart, bursting at the seams in a bad way. I'm not sure. I thought they were having issues. I like stuff like that though, but I thought they were fucking dying or something. Geega wallet with a tiny window display to rep your faction. Ooh. How about mob themed, faction themed name tags? Faction themed name tags. that you can write your name on when you go to conventions. And then it's got a little border and lets you know, like, who they are, who they rep, you know what I mean? That could be crazy. Ooh, dog tags. Luggage tags. Oh, she write these down for me. Write these down for me now. I haven't seen display sponsor for a while, so probably. Yeah, they had something. I think it was the usual AI art shit that pissed people off. I'm so sad that no VTubers are coming to Anime Central 2 weeks. Seems like the con gets looked past because AX happens so soon after. I was trying to get a booth at Anime Central, actually, and that didn't. I don't know exactly why that didn't go through. I don't remember what the reasoning was, but either it was that the booth fee was high, or the timing was not doable, or something. Something. I can't remember what it was, but I was actually trying to do that because I was like, I'm not going to pay for an AX booth. Those AX booths are like $1 bajillion and so not worth. I think AX is a great place to be doing stuff, but like if it's just me, like just the Geega booth, I do not have the funds. I do not have the funds to be doing that. Even when cons like make it a lot cheaper for me, or you know, they're like, oh, do this in exchange and we'll give you the booth, whatever. Like I still don't really make money doing the booth. I do it because I like it, you know? But yes, I don't have anything going on at AX, I don't think. And join in Mouse's booth? What do you mean join in? It's her booth. I only realized what OCF Link was about. Yeah, isn't it like a new con or something? I honestly didn't even know it was a thing until I saw people posting about it, like, oh yeah, I'll be there. And I was like, what is this? I wish I knew earlier. Could have told people about it. Or something. Because there isn't really a lot in, there isn't a lot in Canada, you know? Geega-themed cremation urns. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on. That goes crazy. That goes crazy. Kind of insane. I like it. But yeah, I'm trying to do more cons this year. Try to get like one additional that I could do a booth at. And it's looking like one in like August or September might work out. I'm trying to do a little more per year, but not like go too hard. Because if I try to scale up, it like if I did one last year and then I'm like, I'll do 4 this year, I feel like that's a lot when that's not my main business and I'm just doing it because I want to, you know. So, Anime NYC Shirley. No, that one's also like $1 billion. Like if they wanted to give me a booth space and then in return I'm like, yeah, I'll bring a lot of meet and greet guests and blah blah blah. Like, you know, we kind of scratch each other's backs, then I would do it. But I was looking at booth prices, man. Holy fuck, dude. The Anime NYC prices are just crazy. Like, it's just no. If I find a way to do it without having to like pay a full booth fee, or if I got like a sponsored booth or something, you know what I mean? Like then I would consider it. But like if it's just me doing it, I don't have that money, man. It was like some insane number. AX booths are like 100K for like the industry booths and stuff. Sometimes more. You know, like it's crazy. NYC, I don't remember the exact price for them. I don't remember if it was the same or if it was a little lower or a little higher. I don't remember, but it's, you know, you're competing against against brands like Crunchyroll and things like that have their booths, and there's like a Bandai Namco booth, and then you're like, oh, I'm a little VTuber, let me get a booth too. Like the scale isn't really the same, you know. So you're gonna have to pay something crazy to go and have a booth there. So that's why I like to focus on slightly smaller events. I'm not trying to do a booth at AX or ANYC or something. It's just too much. And you could never, if you're like one VTuber trying to sell their own merch, you would never sell enough to break even on that, you know? DreamCon. I really want to do DreamCon actually. If I doubt any of you are, but if any of you work at DreamCon and have a contact, you know, the people, let me know, because I really wanted to do something at DreamCon. DreamCon had a really big venue. The vibe, I really liked the vibe of the con. It seemed like just such a big actual like community focused thing. So I've been wanting to have a booth at DreamCon for a while. I feel like the people that go to DreamCon would like this drop in particular too, because there were so many fighting game events there. And I was like, dude, these are my people. Like this is the type of con I would want to do shit at. Only heard great things. Me too. And we did a walk around. Dude, I was so happy. We did a walk around and we saw my friend Mo, you know, Venom Mo, the artist. He just had a booth and we showed up and I was like, oh my God, it's Mo, you know, and he was like, what the fuck? And like, I saw so many artists there that I like knew of and everything. And I was like, man, I really got to do something at DreamCon at some point. Surprised VTubers haven't made a contour. What do you mean by contour? What do you mean by that? Because we do walkarounds and stuff, but why not a collab with Crunchy or Bandai for a spot on their booth? Why the fuck would they ever collab with me on a booth? They just have their own. They don't benefit by having me partner with them. So they think. I know I could give them benefits, but like, you know, from their perspective, they would be like, why? No one wants to do shit with you unless you're like the top two. Honestly, the top one, and even then they don't collab with those people very much. Not on like booth space, you know? Right? It's a whole different thing. They've done things with YouTubers before. Yeah, but not what we're suggesting, which is like split up the booth. Give me a section. You know what I mean? Like, that's a crazy big ask. I'm not like, oh, let me show up on your monitor for 5 minutes and do a meet and greet. I'm like, yo, give me a corner of your booth to actually throw like my brand all over and stuff and put my merch out and blah blah. Like, you know, you gotta be like a different scale for that. You know? Now, I have done that with other brands that maybe aren't as huge. Kind of the other way around, though. I had my booth, and then I had Cheeky have a whole section. And Power GPU as well, actually. I had, like, both of them involved in my booth last time. So that was fun as fuck. I don't even think Good Smile partners with their licensors. Yeah, no. Japanese companies are incredibly hard to work with when you're trying to put your branding together. It is really hard. And just straight up not doable in most cases. Also, I'm so stoked to work with some of the game companies that we're working with for sponsor stuff, because like, it's once you get into that and you know how to work with Japanese companies, you can. It's just really hard to go through some of the red tape. But if you show a big willingness to do it, you know, they really will want to work with you if they can. They just won't change their structure, you know. So we've had like an amazing time working with Koei Tecmo and shit. Like the fact that Koei Tecmo let me in on like all of their plans with Neo 3 was just huge. Like that's rare. And yeah, getting to work with Capcom on Monster Hunter as well. I feel like the game companies have been the most flexible with that, but even then they're willing to work with me because it's me, because I'm willing to adjust to the way they work. And a lot of folks are not. So it's a lot of work to get those types of projects done, because there's just, like I said, so much red tape to working with these Japanese companies. But I'm very like willing to do things with them. And like genuinely, they just had never done anything with creators before until working with us. Like Koei Tecmo wasn't even sponsoring people, wasn't sponsoring streamers. They weren't doing stuff like that regularly, you know, like that wasn't kind of part of their marketing. And we were the first to get them to do like an outfit collab and to do like these additional things. We were literally the first. And that's how much they like us. Right? Monster Hunter with the outfits. I was in that first ever wave. It was just me and Limes. When we did Monster Hunter outfits, we were the first ones. They had never considered doing that with, like, especially anyone in the West before that. So. They did come out good. But it's very, it's a bit daunting for them, but they like working with us and they like our willingness to understand how they work, They work exclusively through SponsorBot. Yeah, Koei Tecmo doesn't work through anyone else. They just work through SponsorBot exclusively. But I think that means they like us, to say the least. They really, really like us. So I'm glad. I love working with them. The team is awesome. The team is great, and I'm just trying to connect to a lot more publishers, a lot more like game related brands, especially like that. Because I'm kind of identifying that there are clear reasons why they like working with us. And like at first I was like, wow, I'm really surprised that people like working with us so much. It can't be bad elsewhere. It must just be that like we just hit right place, right time. But no, it's actually they just really like working with us that much more. And I'm like, oh damn. Okay. So now I feel confident now that we've done this for a while. I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. I get it. But yeah. So now I'm like, okay, now I can brag. Before that, I was still learning the ropes and everything, but now that I see how much they enjoy working with us, yeah, I'm just glad that we're I'm glad that we've gotten through all those bumps and figured it out. We're even working with like Japanese agencies too, because we work with the publishers and the sponsors, but we also then work directly with like agencies and individual creators and stuff. Like we kind of work with both sides. And yeah, we've got a bunch of agencies and stuff too as well from Japan, which is cool. Because they're also, notoriously difficult to work with, because if you're Western and you're used to a Western way of working and then you try to fit into the Eastern way of working, if you're not used to that, that can be really tough. But we're really good at, adapting or giving them things that they can adapt to, kind of both ways. So that's been working out very well, thankfully. And that was one of the things I made really clear to all my people. I was like, hey, not everyone works the same, especially not people in Japan. Like we're going to have to set up our systems to be able to handle a lot of different things and just our processes. And, and we're getting there. Or we really, not even we're getting there, we are there. And I'm really happy about that. Would you say the biggest differences between the Eastern and Western work ethic? It's less that I have insight into the work ethic and more the processes of these companies. Like Japan has a really rigid system that almost all companies kind of follow with how paperwork is handled and how decisions are made. Hierarchy and structure working in on that. And so Western companies tend to be very different from each other. And it's just however the people who work there set it up is how it's set up. There are some things that stay across the board, but it's usually by industry. In Japan, companies work as companies do. There's like this type of structure and how things are done. So for example, I'm in a Japanese agency and I'm a VTuber and I'm like, I want to do a project. I need to request budget for this project and I need approval. I have to write up a document, a formal, here's my proposal of what I want to do, which is good. And then I give it to my manager, and my manager looks it over, maybe rewrites it with me, maybe tells me to rewrite it, whatever their role is supposed to be at that company. And they approve and they're like, okay, this is good to hand up. And then that gets handed up to the next layer of whoever's in charge of the thing. Let's say it's like a sponsor thing. Now it goes to my sales department. Now the people in charge of the sales department have to read it over and decide if they want to approve it, blah, 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 whatever. And then if that gets approved, them and like the 2 other people that work in that department and are heads of that department have to use their official rubber stamps, and they have to rubber stamp the paper, the proposal, to show their like 100% consent of, yes, I'm saying yes to this, right? And then after that, then it goes up to one more layer above that is like slightly more executive level, and they look over that. And then depending on how big the company is, it might have to go up more levels or not. Just depends on how many layers there are, you know? And yeah, and they stamp that shit. And it just goes up and down, and it takes so much time. And this is why a lot of people that work in Japanese corpos will have issues. People who are Western will have issues because they're not used to that sort of work environment. And it is something you can absolutely get used to and you can absolutely work with. But you just have to recognize that a lot of things will take a lot of time. And if one person in that line of rubber stamps that need to be stamped onto the paper is like, actually, no, then it's a no. Everyone has to approve it for it to go through. So there could be a lot of people at the company that do support your project proposal, but if there's like one person that's just absolutely not budging, then they're not budging. And if you can't adjust your proposal to be what they will agree to, then that's it. Not even room for negotiation. Usually they hand it back and then you can resubmit it changed. But that's not a sit-down negotiation so much as that is just resubmitting papers over and over. You know, and that's why a lot of Western folks get really frustrated, because they're used to being able to pull their manager into a meeting and just, you know, grab an exec, not an exec, but, you know, like someone one layer up and just talk about it. You don't necessarily get to do that in every Japanese office. Some kind of can, some you don't. But yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough when all business works that way to then be like, yeah, let's, you know, bring your sponsorships to the West, right? Like, but if you're able to understand this and you're able to work with it, like we were, and we were able to really kind of mesh and blend, meet somewhere in the middle, then, you know, it's doable. But you need a lot of patience. I think that's the problem, is some folks that are used to Western work culture don't have the patience for it. Like, they genuinely never will, some of them. So you gotta have the right team. But yeah, if you ever see people in JP Corpos kind of crashing out a little bit about their work environment, it's a lot of stuff like that. And that's why it's not always 100% like, ooh, the corpo's bad. It's sometimes it could be, but sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes it's just these things functionally don't match up. And that's difficult, right? In Japan, work culture has a very, you know your place. Your place is your place. You don't go and just act above your level. Whereas in the West, you know, sometimes you kind of can. Sometimes you kind of can, especially when you're like a creator, you can. But yeah, my place is my place, and I stay in my place. I stay in my lane is very much the work culture over there. So, you know. JP work culture is wildly different on almost every conceivable level. Yeah, you really have to sit there. Like, I had to sit down and just study how this shit works. Straight up. You know, you can't just read one article and be like, I know now. I had to study it. I had to ask questions. I had to become very familiar. You know, but now that we're at that point, now we can work with all sorts of JP companies on the gaming side, sponsor side, on the creator side, like, no problem. It might just be a little slower than we might be able to work with some Western companies, because they're willing to break their molds a little more to get things done, you know, on crazy timelines and stuff. How does Korean work culture compare? It depends on what company. I'd say Korean work culture, like, structure format, could be a little more similar to Western than Japanese, but it still has, it's got a good amount of the hierarchy stuff still going on. But it's company dependent. But I'd say it's a little more similar to Western companies. But it still has a bit of that air of know your place that Japan has. Which, to be fair, there is some of that in Western work culture too. It's not like that doesn't exist. But you know, it's a little stronger in Korea than it would be in the West, for sure. For sure. Thank you for the Prime, by the way. Thank you for all the resubs. But yeah, it's all really interesting. I like learning about this stuff. I really like learning about this stuff because I think it's just cool. It's just cool. That thing will never be fixed. But yeah. Could we get a little more info for the fit check submissions? You're gonna have to ask me a question. What do you want? I think it's self-explanatory. Pop culture throws me on a lot of these things. Have they graduated from the fax machine yet, or are they still big on duplicate and triplicate forms? From what I understand, still big on it. Still big on it. But, you know. it's very, they see it as, one, why break a system that's been working for a long time? And two, it's harder to make some shit up when things are done more analog, is their thinking. But I think it'd be good if they did modernize on some of that stuff and be more digital, build more systems to handle these things. I think that's needed. That's just needed for them to catch up. Honestly. Like, they're gonna fall behind. And I wouldn't want to see that just because they're like, oh, we got to follow our rigid thing, you know? Maybe the younger generations will do that. Who knows? Who knows? Last time you mentioned 3 fits, but this time there's no guideline. Is 1 fine? Is 7 too many? Actually, there is stuff in there that says what you can submit, and you should reread it. It is there. Y'all laugh at the fax machine, but I've never seen a fax get hacked. I think that's kind of their thinking. I mean, if someone wanted to, they could. They could. But yeah, I think there is a bit of, I don't know, like this stuff could be. You have, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if someone wants to, they could just do that. It's probably one of the more unprotected things. And I feel like you'd be a lot better off just going and modernizing and full digitizing all your shit at this point. You know? I mean, like, you could spoof a fax and steal data. Yeah, anything that's receiving data, you can get in the middle somewhere. So it's not really that much better, but... So I don't know how much it comes from them thinking that is better versus it's really just them not wanting to stray from their existing systems that they're used to and know work. And I think there's so much culture behind, like, not being able to tell older people who are your seniors at work how to do their jobs or what you think is better. That the young people just never will until those people die, you know, until those people are retired or dying off. And, you know, whoever's the oldest in that company has to be like, I want to modernize. I want to go full digital on everything, like, for that to happen, I think. Because the younger folks will just never do that. So, you know, they're kind of boned. They're kind of boned. Yeah, it is holding them back. Well, I mean, you look at how much of a global power as Korea is, economically and in manufacturing and just everything, because they just fully embraced modernization. China as well. You know, and it's just like all very, very, very much them being willing to modernize. A lot of a lot of companies in other countries, they're just going to get mocked. Okay, they're just gonna get mocked. And I think I wonder how much they see that versus don't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Speaking of bones, what was that 40 skeletons post about? It was about 40 skeletons. South Korea's monopoly on OLED. Yep. Yep. They were like, what do people want? What can we make? We can make this. Okay, go crazy on it. That's it. That's all. I don't know. I think in general people need to just embrace things. Being stuck in the past, being sitting there and saying, you know, this has worked for me, so I don't need to do anything new. You will always lose. You'll always lose, you know? And it's one thing if you're like, I don't need all the money in the world. I'm happy with what I have. That's cool, right? That's fine. That's totally fine. On like the individual level, that's fine. But when like you're going to sink your whole business over time because some other business from another country is just going to do that thing better because they're just a little more modern, maybe you should adjust, right? Maybe you should, because you're going to like lose that market entirely and never be able to get it back, right? Yeah, some forward motion. Exactly. Exactly. Once you've lost that stuff, it's over, man. It's over. So, Samsung's so big, they're 30% of the entire country's economy. Yeah. Well, Korea also has this issue where it's, you know, pretty much an oligarchy. Like, it's a democratic country, but the rich, well, not oligarchy like rich individuals, but like the companies that are really rich and doing very well, they just kind of control everything. So it is sort of an issue for them in some ways. Chaebol is just like a rich person who comes from a family that owns or is part of one of those families that owns you know, one of those giant companies. Like if you're part of the Samsung family, basically, right? But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot for those folks to deal with because smaller companies can't really like push to the forefront there at all. It's just full controlled by these companies. So, you know, yeah, they're super modernized. They're doing things really well, but, you know, they also ramped up and accelerated so fast. And now they just kind of control everything. It's a little spooky. It's a little spooky. Small companies just get bought out, though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's no room for them to exist and push past. They can't. That's what I mean. So it's just impossible. And they'll always take the buyouts. They'll always take the buyouts because they want money. You know, who doesn't? Right? And if you don't take the buyout, they'll make you take it. It's pretty evil. But yeah. There's a solution, just marry into the dynasty. You know how much people want to marry into those families? You're fighting with everybody, dude. Everybody. Literally everybody. I'd win. Okay, go try. Go try. See how it goes. They marry amongst themselves to forge connections. Yes and no. There is some merit to like if you watch K-dramas, they'll be like some commoner woman falls in love with some rich man who's part of the Samsung family, right? And he's like, I love you, but I have to go to a marriage meeting with the daughter of the whatever group, and because our families want to something business connections. Like this kind of happens somewhat, but it's usually like not that. It's not exactly that. It's usually just that the rich know the rich. Those are the people in their spaces. That's who they hang out with. And they live very different lives. And when someone's like always been rich and they like or make friends with someone who's never been, there is a cultural gap that often just naturally makes them not end up together. You know? So it's not always like, oh, the parents forced me, like these K-drama plots. It's more so usually that they're like, oh, we're actually not a match, you know? And it's not necessarily that the rich one is like, I don't like these pores or whatever. They're just like, we don't get each other, you know? And like I've experienced this in New York City where I've made like one or two friends that are like crazy rich. And I'm like, I don't think you understand the world the way I understand the world. And I don't think you ever will, because you were raised in such a different way from me. And just watching them day to day, seeing them do things in front of you that you're like, I could never fathom doing that because I never had that kind of money. You know? It's just, it's very different. It's very, very different. What do you mean you don't own an artisanal bread maker? When you talk about doing certain types of work and they're like, why would you do that? You don't have someone to do that? Or oh my God, I was talking to one friend that I had made a while back. We weren't like close friends. It was just someone that I was like mildly friendly with. And she was talking about like the ideal age to have children. And a lot of what she was like factoring in when she was talking about like when she would want them and blah, blah, blah. That was just like the discussion topic. She was talking so much about like a lot of things that in my mind, I was like, you can't do that unless you have a nanny. You can't live like that unless you have a nanny, unless you have help, live in help. Live in help. So you don't have to wake up every 3 hours to feed your newborn. The nanny can do it overnight. You know, like just a lot of stuff that like she was talking about. I was like, literally none of this is possible for most people. But she was just talking and she was talking and talking. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, the thing is that is feasible for her because that's how people in her class layer do it. You know, like that's, I guess, but I don't know. I was just like, okay. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. All right, lady. And it was just normal to her. But I was like, I couldn't consider most of that stuff because I made like regular money, you know? Crazy. Crazy. Or like if they want to go somewhere, they can just always go somewhere. They don't think about buying their plane tickets too far in advance. Like they can sometimes, but if they're like, oh, I just want to go to fucking, I don't know. I want to go to Aspen this weekend. Oh, I'll just go to Aspen. Yeah, I'll just get a flight tomorrow and they'll just find one and it's totally fine. And they'll always get a seat because they'll always be willing to pay, you know, something higher. It's just like so normal for them, you know, and it's just little things like that. Or private jet. Well, yeah, that's a lot. But yeah. More like Aspen. Ha ha ha. So true. So true. If I said the last time I had a vacation, it'd fuck up the vibes, dude. Nah, you're fine. Be yourself. Be yourself here. It's okay. We might make fun of you, but be yourself, dude. I was watching the show, The Morning Show. There was this moment where the rich anchor basically said, fuck you, get me a flight. Same energy. Yeah, right? That's the thing. Is like, they just can have whatever. And the moment you start telling them no, they're like, no, there's a way I can throw money at this. This can happen. Go find out how. Like, they just, that's just their attitude, which is like insane to me. Actually crazy. I don't know. And like in the city, you do like see rich people around a bit more. You know, you're physically in proximity with everyone a bit more across the different class layers, but you don't see them in the buildings you go in because they're in different buildings. You know, they're eating in different places. They're hanging out in different spots. You just see them walking around on the street while they're going between their rich people places. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Rich lit detected. I fire shine. Yeah, I got you guys. I got you guys. We're gonna play in a bit whenever everyone's ready. Probably in like a half hour or so. Everyone has a tier of spending where they just go screw it and throw money at things. Do they? I don't. I think that depends on how you're raised. Geega secretly has generational wealth, we all know. I fucking wish, dude. God. No, I'm out here telling you guys every damn day. I'm like, give me money to give my mom. You know, like, whenever anyone's like, what would you spend money on if you were rich? I'd be like, my mom, because she's not rich. You know what I mean? Every damn day. I'm looking around. I'm like, what can I do for her? Nah, I mean. Would love that. I would love that. You said I would spend the extra 50 cents for good pancake mix. See, I would make it myself if I can't find a good one out the box, man. Because I would refuse to pay the 50 cents because I'm just, I can't. I can't. You're gonna have Night Central this year? I would like to do a walk around, but I don't know if I'll be able to. We'll see. I'm not gonna know until like we're on it. Do you think sugar baby and sugar daddy arrangements are fine? What do you mean by fine? I don't care what other people do. I don't give a fuck. As long as no one's getting hurt, I don't care. If that's the answer, then probably yes. I think people should not get in other people's business. You know? And I really don't care what anyone's doing as long as no one's getting hurt. You know? And so, like, I don't really care. I do see people, I remember, was it 2 weeks ago maybe? There were like a bunch of tweets relating to that stuff and everyone was giving their take on that. And I was like, who gives a fuck? If they both want to do that, let them do that, you know? It's fine. People do a lot worse. Oh no, old dude's giving young girl money. She's getting things she wants. He's getting things he wants. Oh no, like, you know, whatever. Someone might regret it in the future, but that's just people making people mistakes, you know? Whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Right? No, thanks. Yeah, oh no, something legal is happening. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Do you think being rich makes other people automatically hate you even if you are a decent person? Is the perception of being rich negative? Yes, everyone hates things, people who have things that they don't. Now, their level of hatred widely varies. I think people by default are maybe hate isn't the word, they're a little judgmental. I think it's a better way to say it. They assume that maybe you're a little, you don't get the world the way they get it. If you're rich, they'll assume they probably won't hate you. They'll just assume that you're very different. They'll assume that you're a little stuck up. They'll assume that you take things for granted. And you might not. I've known people that like have a lot of money that don't actually take everything for granted because it just depends on how they're raised. I think being someone who became rich on your own, much more likely to not take shit for granted. But if you're born into it, you're more likely to have issues with that. But your parents could also just teach you to not take shit for granted. I know plenty of rich kids from the city that like actually turned out okay. You just don't hear about them because they're not shocking. The ones who do take everything for granted are the ones who end up on TV and then make them all look bad, you know? So it just depends on how they're raised. So I think it's not really needed. That judgment's not needed, you know? Leave for the raid. Did you see the red button, blue button thing? Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I saw people giving their super deep takes on it, and I thought it was funny because I was like, I don't care about hypotheticals. I don't give a fuck. You know what my answer is? Red. I push the red button, so I live. That's all. And if I have time to advise, I advise everyone that I know that I care about, push red. Very easy. Very easy. Anyone who wants to live could push red. It's 100% chance. Blue is not 100% chance. I think it's nice to believe that people should push blue. I think morally blue is good. I think blue is good because then you keep alive the people who think of others. You know, so like I see a lot of merit in pushing blue, but you guys know how I feel about the population, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I think all the people should go and birds should rule the world. Okay, so don't ask me that question because I'm gonna tell you every time I want the birds to win and I want the people gone, you know. So, fish in the water, birds in the sky, cats living in people's old houses, you know, people gone. That's what I think is wonderful and great. So, you know, don't ask me. That's my answer, dude. Back to the primordial soup. Yup. Yup. The world should be run by ravens and crows. Here, let me do a poll. You guys tell me what you would press. One minute poll in the button question. The idea is if you press red, you live. If you press blue, you're voting for everyone to live. If more than half of the people end up pressing blue, everyone lives. If more than half of them end up pressing the red, then only the people that pressed red live. That's the button question. So which one would you pick? Can I walk away? Nah, you have to pick one. Why doesn't everyone just press red? Because blazing people don't think logically like that. They have a different type of logic that they think is the same. Blazing, I think like you, and I think very matter of fact. I'm like, if you all pick red, then you can all live. And if you don't, you should die. Right, Blazing? That's what they're... No, people on Twitter were like, if you press red, you are the worst and you want good people to die. And I'm like, that is not the thinking here. The people are just like, this is a clear, logical question of you just press red to live. And wouldn't everyone just press it because it has a 0% chance of death versus pressing the one that has a non-zero chance? Right? That's the logic behind most people saying just press red, bro. And then blue had a lot of people arguing like, but don't you want to be good? I want blue to win because you should press it to be good. And I'm like, this isn't a moral question. This is just a simple, logical, like there's no logical reason to not press red. Right? But that's because I think what this test is very simple. I think it shows the people who are thinking about this as a moral question versus the ones who think about this as a logical, mathematical question. That's all it does. And people can argue all they want. All it does is just separate you into what type of person you are and type of thinking. And both of those answers are good depending on what type of thinker you are. That's all it is. That's all it is. Right? And that's what a lot of philosophical questions are. Right? There is no correct answer necessarily. It just lets you know more about yourself or others and how they think. There's a moral component with this. You can't deny that. I don't give a fuck. I treat it as a logical question. I can't deny it. I can deny it. Because anyone could just be like, well, there's no issue if we just all press red because we all want to live, don't we? Boom.
Secret, third button. The brown button. Everyone lives, but they all shit their pants.
Yes. Yes. You can't deny that typical blue buttoner thinking. Right? It's just, all it is a test to see like what way you think and what you value when making decisions. That's all. That's all. Which is why philosophical questions like that are fun. But then people start calling other people fucking murderers for their answer to the question, revealing that they think differently from someone else, and I'm just like, bro, shut up. But you can tell what type of thinker I am from that, right? This is moral relativistic perspective. Are you a moral relativist person? That's the one where ethics are related to situations more than absolute, right? Is that the one? Where it's like related to like a specific person situation rather than the same across everybody. I would say I somewhat align with it kind of, but I'm not read up on it enough to be like 100% yes or no. I feel like the question wanted to be like the trolley problem. No, it didn't want to be like the trolley problem. The trolley problem and the red blue button question and all these things are just philosophical questions. On one track,
and all the red button pushers on another track.
Yeah.
And then drive trolleys over them until this stupid debate ends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a poorly thought out hypothetical. No, it's not. It's not a poorly thought out hypothetical because the purpose of it is to just let people figure out where they stand on, or not where they stand, but how they think. It's like fucking MBTIs, okay? Having people answer those types of questions and being like, oh, you are the type to think this way, right? That's really all it is. That's all it is, man. And then I saw people arguing so much about this, and I was like, oh my god. It's a little fun thought experiment. It's not even like anything crazy. It's nothing insane, you know? Yeah, to figure out if you're an idealist or a realist or anything, any of those types of things. It just kind of helps sort people, and I think it helps with personal understanding. But people, you know, here's the problem right now. People don't know how to be introspective. Like, the point of these questions is to sit there and think about them and be introspective. Why would I pick this? And what is my thinking of that? To understand themselves. But everyone starts yelling at each other about their answers to it like fucking idiots. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to sit there and think about this and be introspective. You don't understand like what you're doing. You're just using it to yell at people. Put a gun to your head and be mad you didn't act like Buddha. Yeah, yeah. And I just think they could just chill out. I think they could just chill out. Would you rather live in a world full of blue choosers or red choosers? Red choosers, because I know they would think similarly to me, that this isn't a moral question. This is a simple logical puzzle of if we all press red, we all live. And anyone who didn't see that and press blue because they started bringing like acting like this is a big moral dilemma when they could have just easily lived, in my opinion, made the wrong choice. And I saw people arguing online and being like, if you press red and you're living with the red pressers, you're living with the terrible people. And I'm like, it means that they just don't understand what the red pressers were thinking. They're not like, oh, I want nice people to die, I press red. Maybe someone posts that on Twitter because they're, you know, trying to engagement bait. But it's just people who just did math and then went, yes, this is the correct answer. You know? That's what the red thinkers are thinking for the most part, except for the few people on Twitter that are acting like it's something else. Yeah, they're also not concerned about the optics. I disagree because it's a private vote in the hypocritical. There's no logical way that everyone will press red. Some people will die. Yeah, but that's, you know, I'm still going to press red. Because, you know, I want the earth to be overrun by birds and not people. So don't mind me. Delta, thank you for the resub. That's just me. That's just me. Yeah, you're talking to a streamer with the evil tag on their tags, and then you're like, why don't you press the blue button? Don't forget. Red choosers, self-admitted, are probably more honest too. Maybe, I mean, because it is a private vote, like no one will know what you pressed necessarily, unless like red wins. But you know, but still. The way I see it, I press blue and I no longer need to pay taxes. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Red accounts for the stupidity of people. I just think it's not that deep. I think the thing is, everyone's going to pick their answer for a slightly different reason, or the way they come to their conclusion. There'll be a lot of similarity, but there'll be so much nuance in people's heads too. So much nuance. And I think to judge people off of their choice as if they're all evil or they're all performative for pressing one or something like that is just narrow-minded. That's all. And I think that's what this experiment has shown people in real time. Because I'm like, the logical choice is red. Anyone who thinks logically is going to pick red. I pick red. I don't want to die. That's my thinking process. It's not like I really hope people die, so I press red, you know? I'm not pressing it going, if you pick blue, you're a stupid idiot and that's your problem. Die, you know? Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just looking at it and doing the math. That's all, right? So, and that's how I think. That's all it is, right? Would you rather blue or red to win? I would rather red win, and then I would hope that like nearly everybody just presses red because it makes sense. You know? That's just it. You know, I don't press it thinking, oh, I really hope people freaking die. You know? I'm not going to gamble my life on other people's ability to do math. Yeah, there's also the individualism and stuff in it. Yeah. I think the button's more of a cyan. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Sorry, but I feel like that's really bad reasoning. No, it just means you think differently from me. That's all. I just think the blue button is one of those things where here's a thought. Let's say you're the type, because I am the type who, like, when I was thinking about the question, when I was first presented with it, my first thought was, blue is really nice. I would like if everyone pressed blue. That was my first thought. It would be really nice if everyone did. But then I think about it for more than 2 seconds, right? And I'm like, there's a lot of selfish people in the world. And there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily bad selfish. They're just worried about their own preservation and don't trust that other people will press blue. So a lot of people are going to press red because they're going to be like, I just don't know. Because everyone seems to think that everyone in the world is so much worse than they are. They seem to think that a lot of people are much worse intentioned than they are. People are more evil than they are. So a lot of people are going to press red because they're going to be like, I just don't trust that enough people will press blue for this to work out. So a lot of the red pressers will be people that would have liked to press blue but feel like they can't because they're just going to get themselves killed. Which is why I'm saying a lot of people are just going to do the math and press red. And a lot of good people will pick it because they're like, I don't want to just see me, someone who I believe is good, get killed off. That's how a lot of people are going to be thinking when they press it too. You know what I mean? So it's not all like selfish picks necessarily in like a bad way as well. This will create a low trust society? No. I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I think I've seen a lot of people type that on Twitter. I think a lot of folks are parroting that. I don't think it actually will. Genuinely. Because the thing is, you act like that's not how it already is. Like this will create a low trust society? No one trusts their neighbor right now. That's not going to change anything. You know? Unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Do I wish it weren't like that? Absolutely. I don't think it's a good thing. I wish it were a higher trust society. It would confirm those suspicions. No. A lot of things in the world already confirm those suspicions for people. So let's be realistic. I genuinely do. Good people will most likely choose blue. If all those people die, then the world would suck a lot more. I disagree. So many good people are going to still choose red. There's going to be so many good people who are like, I want to choose blue, but what if I die and I'm not there for my kids? Boom, presses red. What if I can't be there for my spouse? What if I can't be there for my family? I think they would pick this too to make sure they're there for me. Boom, they pick red. They're going to be thinking about the people around them. They're not going to be thinking about the whole world. And that's the problem too, is everyone's thinking about this question like, oh, all the people in the world. No, just think about if you're actually faced with this button, who are you going to be thinking about? Your family, the people around you, all of this, you know? Boom. That's why a lot of people are going to pick it. And you're going to get a lot of people, that's what I was saying earlier, you're going to get a lot of people that are good pressing red to make sure that they can be there for the world and they can be there for their people around them too. It's not like all bad people press red and all good people press blue. You know what I mean? So that's just how it is. I've never seen the original question. Is there some extra layer blue? No, it's just what people are writing around it. What would Socrates pick? Socrates would just yell at you about both of them endlessly because he likes these kind of questions and finds them fun. Most people who choose blue are going to be good. That's a big statement. I don't know if that's true. Geega, have you considered that your friends and family are also going to choose blue? Yes, of course. What, you think I haven't thought through the question? You think I've answered this and talked about it at this length without thinking about if they would? Here's the thing. I know most of them would pick red because they think the same as me because we were raised in similar environments. They would all be like, I want to be there for my family. I pick red to make sure we can stay together. That's how my family is, genuinely. Some of them might pick blue and I will be distraught. That sucks. But I'd rather guarantee some of them. Guarantee some than potentially all of them wiped out. That's all. And that's how most of my family is going to work. Most of them are going to press red immediately. That's it. There are plenty of moral high ground people trying to manipulate people about blue. Yeah, I think some of them are moral high ground. Some of them just like don't. They just cannot believe that people would pick red and still like be good because they've kind of thought through it, and to them blue is the only answer. That's fine. You can think whatever you want. But I would 100% pick red. There is no other answer to me, and I think if you simply do the math, you pick red, and I would just hope to death that as many people as possible are picking red. That's all. I think it'd be really nice, really nice. But here's the other thing. If we're just, let's talk now probability. If I'm faced with this question in real time, the way I think people are, I think most people are going to pick red. I do not foresee most people in the world picking blue. Unfortunately. I wish the world were that way. It's not. That's what I believe. Okay, I really think most people are going to pick red. So it becomes a die or don't die button, in my mind, if you consider the way people are. Because a lot of people are going to see it as that, and nothing else. They're not going to think about the question that deeply. Most of them are going to look at this and be like, uh-oh, I could die? Oh, no. And then they're going to press the self-preservation button. So knowing that that's how most people are, and it's just like a probability thing at that point, I'm just going to be like, well, then it's press the hopeful button that I know is likely to get me killed. Or press the one with no risk for me, to my own person. Right? So, you know, you disagree. Hey, you can disagree all you want. I think you're straight up wrong. I think most people are going to pick red. So there are many countries like China and India with strong social communities and social cohesion. Is what I described about my family not strong social cohesion between us? That's the thing. A lot of people are going to go, I'm going to pick red because I know my people are going to pick red and we're going to be there for each other. Boom, and they pick it. Is that not that? You know what I'm saying? So you can have the same reasons for picking both. You can pick one for good reasons. You can pick one for bad reasons, you know. But I think a lot of people are going to pick red for good reasons. familial cohesion isn't necessarily social. I include family, friends, and all those things as well in that kind of decision, though. I know for a fact a lot of people that I have interfaced with in my life would pick red, knowing in their heads, my people are going to pick red, you know? That's just how a lot of them are going to think. I'm sure of that. Absolutely sure of that. Again, all of this to say, to circle back, I do wish everyone would just pick blue. You know, like I really think it would be nice if the world were like that and I could comfortably hit blue knowing that other people are going to. That's just like, I wish, but that's not what I think realistically people will pick. When faced with that question, not shown data. I don't know what people have chosen on online quizzes. You know, I don't know what they've said. But I just genuinely think that's how it would go. So there's also just the probability on that. Yeah. I'd rather hit blue for even the slim chance to save the toddlers that accidentally chose blue. Oh, I feel you. If that's one thing is I don't see people posing the question and being like, yeah, kids are doing this. I'm thinking of it in the format of adults. For sure. But I do think a lot of kids are actually going to pick red as well. That's the one where it's like, oh yeah, you know, that changes the question a little bit. I'm still going to pick red, is what I'll say. Regardless of that, I'm still picking red. I couldn't live with myself if my vote killed thousands and thousands of people. I could, is what I'm saying. I could do it. I hope 10 of us press red. I hope only 10 of us press it. And everyone else press blue. And you'll never know about it. Grr. What's the downside of everyone picking red? Everyone still lives? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Blue button is the only one risking the lives of people. Yeah, but it's them risking their own life. And for me, I feel like in order to press blue, you have to be willing to die. You are showing that you are willing to take that chance. Which is why I would feel bad, but I wouldn't be like tearing myself apart over every little bit of it. Maybe about the kids. I'm thinking of this question without the kids in mind, though. Okay, I'm not putting kids into that question for myself personally. I'm thinking about it like 18 plus, okay? If I'm thinking about it 18 plus, then I'm like, if they were willing to press the button, they were willing to press it. You know? That's just where I'm at with that. The smart kids would push red blazing. It's the secret sauce, man. What is the upside to pressing blue? They think that... Okay, there's no personal upside. They're thinking in the larger format of if enough of us do this, no one dies. There's no collateral damage, and I can feel good after I did this because I know I chose something that saved everyone. Right? And I think their idea is if someone, they think red is the bad option. And they're like, if they want to save the other people that also think like that and press blue as well. That's part of the argument. You know, like I want to save the people that also think this way. I think they're worth saving. I think they're worth preserving. That's a lot of the blue thing, which I don't disagree with. I do think it sucks that if only some press blue and most press red, and the ones that press blue died off from it. I think that sucks because it's specifically picking like a lot of people who are probably well-intentioned. So I agree that that's bad. I still think most people pick red. Okay, like, and not for bad reasons. I think mostly for good reason, because they're doing simple math, stuff like that, right? And I think it's just the logical option, dude. That's it. And most people are going to pick it because of that. So if you can't even make a difference by pressing blue and you're just going to die if you press it, that's how I see the button. I'm going to pick red. That's my final answer. Done. And you can't convince me of anything else. If you guys have other philosophical questions like this, though, like really good ones, let me know for the future. I love these. I love these. At the end of the day, yeah, it's a bar talk question. Exactly. That's really what it is, dude. I think the thing that was sad to see was I was seeing people on Twitter, like, shit flinging at each other over their choice. And I was like, okay, well, this isn't happening, so... you know, like, because how people say they would act, like the answer they say they would give versus what they actually do in that moment, if it were real, totally different. Totally different. That's the thing is, yeah, people can't handle hypotheticals. Like, so many people would be like, I would press blue, and in that last moment would go red. And then there would be people who are the opposite. There's so many people that'd be like, I would pick red. I would. And then in that last moment, they'd be like, oh, blue, and they just have a moment of just kind of following their you know, their heart on it or whatever it is, right? So that's why I'm like, it's cool to talk about, but when I see people like starting to get really worked up over it, I'm like, whoa. Whoa, it's hypothetical, you know? Hypotheticals are fun questions. It's fun to debate about them. So that's why I really enjoyed the conversation. Like I enjoyed talking to you guys about it. And I enjoyed reading a little bit about it on Twitter, like at first. And then the more the conversation went on, I was like, all right, people are like getting a little crazy over it, you know? And it wasn't worth that. It wasn't worth that, dude, for some of these people. But I think those types of things are fun. I love fun little things, fun little dilemmas to talk about. I like hearing your thoughts and stuff like this. I like hearing what you guys, you know, think on this stuff. All I ask is that you just don't get like crazy heated or start accusing me or other people in chat of being like bad or something. Like, you'll get timed out if you're getting a little too into it. Not too into it and talking about it, but if you're getting too into it and you're starting to put labels on people, then you know, yeah, no spice. We don't want spice. We just want discussion. But yeah. But as long as you can have fun talking about it, I love these types of talks, man. I do. And also, you know, I like to temp check chat. I like to be surrounded by people who are a mix of agreeing and disagreeing with me and thinking like and not alike me. If I asked this and none of you said blue, I'd be like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I don't have anyone who thinks differently. Uh-oh. You know? So I'm a big proponent of making sure we got dissenters in the chat, you know what I mean? We got people that don't think the same. What if they were mauve and khaki? Ooh, I hate mauve. I would press the khaki button, but I don't like khaki pants. Ooh, mauve is a terrible color. Terrible. Awful. Yeah, I agree with this one. You said people assume red is the default button, but nothing happens if everyone presses blue. And then the only way people die is if people press the red button. Yeah, I get that logic. I just think that's not the same math I'm doing. I get it. Anyway, is this dress white and gold, or is this dress blue and black, chat? Which one? I wore mauve to prom once. Oh, mauve to prom? Ugh. Oh, God. Terrible color. Terrible. Awful, awful. Okay, we got our collab starting. I'm gonna ask them what color. What color they would pick. Did you go to prom? I didn't go to my own prom. I went to the one the year before when I was a junior, because a lot of my closest friends were a year older than me. And I went with a friend who was just like, yo, I got you as the plus one so you can go with the friend group. And then we just hung out, and it was literally just us hanging out. And then we were all like the type to not enjoy prom anyway. So we hung out there for like an hour. And then one of our friends' parents had like their whole backyard set up really like bougie glamping kind of. They just like the parents like set up this thing in their backyard that felt like a fancy tent, and they had a projector and shit. And we just went back there and just hung out. It was really nice. It was mostly just a fancy hangout, honestly. How much did that hangout cost? Well, we didn't have to pay for tickets to prom. And then none of us went with like crazy expensive outfits. Not, at least my friend group didn't give a shit, you know, so we didn't really do that. I think you had to pay for certain things if you got them while there, but we just didn't do any of that. It was like free for us. You just had to get there, which was cool. And our prom wasn't like an expensive event, so it's I've heard other people said that they had to pay for theirs. And I think that's because they did them at like fancy venues. Ours was like in our fucking gym, you know. They put like they had a DJ standing in the corner and some balloons. You know what I mean? It was not like a rich kid prom or even a like middle class kid prom. It was like a shitty, you know, this could have been an email and we'd have a better time kind of thing. So yeah, we played video games, and that was it. And then I didn't go when I was a senior. I didn't go because I was pretty much done with everything, a little early, so I didn't go. And I also didn't go to my own graduation. I didn't go to my own graduation because I had I was an athlete and I had stuff I had to do away. So I didn't get to go to my own graduation, which was fine. I didn't want to because everyone just sat out there in the middle of summer and was sweating, and I was like, that doesn't sound fun. Who cares about graduating high school, man? That was how I felt.